8:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 3 p.m. Eastern. Well, no, I'm saying 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific for about an hour and 90 minutes each day. We run it live on YouTube, and we're simulcasting over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the live chat from the people that are watching the show live. It's not really showing up on my YouTube, so is it working for you guys?
I'm not sure. It says live in here, but
yeah, it says live.
YouTube yet.
A little bit distracting. So you got it on.
I can't seem to pull up the live version of the show.
Okay, so we'll keep working on that. It was sort of like that last week too, I think. So maybe it's just a weird lag. Anyhow, so we run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the comments from the people that are watching us live. So welcome everybody. It might be acting a little bit weird today. Sorry, it's not, we don't have control of the tech. We are just happy to be able to use such fancy technology for nothing. Let's see. So we simulcast it over at Gun Channels. We're watching the live chat. Every once in a while, we'll take the audio from it and post it on iTunes as a podcast. So we encourage anybody who's listening to the show now or in the future, leave us some feedback. Let us know where you're at. Hopefully that'll encourage others. They'll be able to see the links out there and see the show. So we appreciate that favor. There's 4 hosts. We're all here today. Got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
I'll be able to see the link. Oh, okay. I just had to refresh. And then we got Dano jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining.
Yep, glad to be here.
And Smeggy's in Michigan.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
And I'm down here in Arizona. So that's everybody. That's the show. It's Monday, episode 346. Before we dig into all the stuff we normally do on a day, we usually take a break at the beginning of the show to see if there's anything worth talking about or anything that happened over the weekend.
I can tell you, I don't want to move anybody again for as long as I live.
Oh, tell me about it. I've been doing that too.
What, were you moving Bob, or was Bob moving Dano? What's going on?
No, I was moving some of my own stuff.
Well, that's different. You have to do that. I'm talking about other people's stuff.
I don't got to worry about moving stuff anymore because I'm going to have a van. Never have that issue.
Just let the home implode on itself and just drive away.
When you get a van, G-Webs, all your friends will be phoning you up. Hey, man, can you come over and help me move a couch?
No, that's the thing. That's all for pickup truck people. All you suckers that have pickup trucks have to do that kind of errands. Anyway, so other stuff happened over the weekend. We had the Every Second Matters show yesterday, where we get together on the second day of the month. We make a open forum for anybody who wants to get together and talk about what they might have done for the Second Amendment. Smeggy prepared quite a bit of stuff about the various things politically that happened over the month of June, and we look forward to having more of those in the future. We've been doing those for, 4 years now or something, maybe more, and pretty much there's only been maybe 3 or 4 that have been missed at all in that whole time, and maybe less than that. So it was a pretty good show, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I liked it.
We had quite a few shows over the weekend. News show over on Gun Channels, Clover Tack set up shop, and I'm not sure if he's picked a date and time to do it, but he joined us on the Early Watch show earlier today and had another good conversation with him. So really look forward to him. See him out on the YouTube side. Thanks for stopping by. Sean's saying, is anybody else having technical issues? I don't know if you're hearing this, but I'll type it in there. But yeah, it was easy. It was better after I refreshed.
Yeah, I also actually no, I didn't refresh YouTube. It just popped up like 2 minutes after we started instead of 30 seconds after we started like normal.
Okay.
So it did eventually pop up.
I'll go ahead and let everybody know to refresh anyway. And let's see. Man, I've been all kinds of busy, so I don't even know what all. I know more stuff than that happened over the weekend, so I'm sorry if we're missing some of it. Of course, starts out on Saturday morning with Travis with his reloaders bench, and then Rick did his show, and Yankee and Matt do shows over the weekend, and so early watch was on earlier today, so lots of stuff happening over on gun channels. I've been missing a lot of the late night stuff lately just because I've been passing out at like 10 o'clock. But trying to talk somebody into being a late night host over there, sort of doing after chats. So if anybody's interested in doing something like that, let us know. I know that Mr. Knives has been hosting the live lobbies over there. I want to thank him for that if he's out there listening.
Yeah, I still try and do live lobbies when I get a chance also. So it's a group effort.
I don't know if we lost Pink or if anybody heard from Pink. Is he on vacation or?
I have not heard from him. I'm not sure.
That's a good question. I wasn't sure if he was just not feeling up to it or what was.
I'm not sure. So anyway, lots of fun over the weekend to be had, and I heard there was some epic stuff happening in the late night chats that I totally missed with Hosh, and I don't know if Smeggy was in there or not.
Yeah, I was for a little bit. Good times. Basically, lots of fun to be had on those chats.
Yeah, I missed the talk with Hosh. I like talking with him.
All right, well, we'll dig into the show. It's episode 346. It's a Monday, so that means we'll be talking about social media today, embedding pics and vids versus using URL pointers to YouTube. So that should be a technical and interesting one. We'll talk about the events that are coming up. We look at the calendar over at Gun Channels to see what all events might be coming up. We'll feature them today. Of course, we have our gun shop of the day and the movie of the day and all that kind of stuff. So I guess our first segment on Mondays is we dig into the week and talk about what's coming up. This way you have an idea of what movies to watch. If we're going to be talking about movies every day and some of the other topics. So Dano, we got John Wick 2 today. You said you had a list there, though. Could you throw 4 or 5 more out there, I guess, from that list?
I do. Unfortunately, I closed that tab, so give me a few minutes and I'll pull it back up.
No worries. Tomorrow will be Tuesday, so we'll be talking about Second Amendment issues. We got the best rebuttals to the militia clause. So I guess
I like that one.
And is point shooting for self-defense at 10 to 25 yards real versus impractical option versus using sights? Where would one get to the point shoot training as it is typically being taught these days? So I guess this is going to be a topic tomorrow, even though it's not really a training day. I guess somebody wanted to shove that in there. So we're going to be talking about point shooting versus aimed sight. And then on the state of the state, yeah, the past shows is where I guess we would look to see what states we've already done. Just look at, the Tuesdays in the past shows, I guess. But no, we never did make a list, so we weren't exactly right.
That other topic was called "There's an empty slot. It's a hole that needs to get filled."
Dano filled it. So that'll be Tuesday. Then Wednesday we'll talk entertainment. When do practical gun techniques trail off and movie gung fu techniques begin? So practical versus movie, I guess. And then we'll do good idea, bad idea. Carry a firearm in the car all the time. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? And then also on Wednesdays, we do the hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown, where we look over to Instagram, see how many people have been using the hashtag Daily Gun Show, and we judge your pictures and go through them all. So it's usually a lot of fun. We have 516 posts as of last week. So if you'd like to participate in that on Wednesday, head over to Instagrams, post pictures or whatnot, funny, interesting, unique, epic. And then put the hashtag Daily Gun Show in there. And then on Wednesday, we'll judge it. Maybe it'll be the best picture. Let's see. Thursday is CCW. We'll talk about CCW outside versus inside. I don't know, I guess that means the house. And then gun stuff. How do you value your guns? And on training this week, we will talk about online training.
It can't
Oh,
possibly
now come
say
on!
that.
This is not possible.
It cannot possibly say that.
I know there's like a
Drunk
massive
and out of-
paragraph. There's like a massive paragraph. I ain't reading that whole paragraph. So we're going to talk about
It's
something
time
for
for
training.
Control F in the word online and delete every single one that's out there.
Then we'll talk about gun tech on Friday, accessories for plinking, long range hunting. For the gun biz, what to do when a gun company does anti-Second Amendment efforts. Well, we what do you call it? I can't think of the word. We boycott them. And then on Friday, we'll talk about the alternative gun topic, securing your home electronic, physical, some of the pros and cons of each. Securing your, what is all that? Securing your home. And what are some of the pros and cons to each of the ways to secure your home, I think that's what we're saying here. So that's the week. So we'll be talking about all these issues and more. Every day we talk about a gun shop. It's one of the reasons we started doing this show way more than a year ago now. And in about 3 weeks, you'll start hearing about a new gun shop every day based on where we're actually driving to those gun shops. Really looking forward to that. Till then, though, we try to feature a new gun shop every day. So if you'd like to suggest a shop, please do so. And pretty soon, in fact, sooner than later, we're going to start asking you to suggest shops along the route so that as we're driving along and stopping to do the podcast every day, you're letting us know where the most unique and interesting gun shops are out there. So looking forward to that turning into a whole different thing. We talk about a gun every day. We talk about a movie that has something to do with guns every day. And of course, Dano does his pop quiz at any time. You never know when that's going to happen. So that's the week. And Dano, did that give you enough time to come up with the rest of the movies we're going to do this week?
Well, I actually got something to say about the gun of the day we're going to do this week.
Okay.
Somebody put a suggestion up, and it was, what gun would you carry to your daughters, or would you open carry? And I thought that's kind of a neat subject. And I thought, we have 4. How about every one of the hosts do a day?
Bob drunk.
You know, so they pick
His
the
internet
gun,
is.
right? They
Your
pick
internet.
the gun.
Your internet is drunk, Bob. So you were saying something about the thing I posted, actually from Clover Tech. He was talking about what gun he was going to wear to his daughter's wedding, right? And you're saying that's going to be your theme for gun of the week or gun of the day each week?
But each one of the hosts has to pick a gun, and then on Friday we'll take whatever the audience sends in. We'll take the one that we think is the most interesting and make that Friday's gun of the day.
Okay. I guess if you basically Bob's saying he's taking the week off, it's up to us to come up with guns of the day every day.
Today,
And he's laying it on the audience on Friday.
yeah, I think it's a good premise. Like, what gun would you go with? A style? Would you go with fancy? Would you go with traditional? Double barrel shotgun? What?
Yeah, I like it. You're being creative. I'm just afraid that in the fine print somewhere it says that Bob's the one marrying your daughter. So let's have a look.
Oh, buddy, I don't want to ever get married again. Believe me.
That's what he says now.
Get
And then,
married again.
Mister, I'm not going to buy a van. It's too small for me.
Yeah. And what you got?
My van's 24 feet long, though.
That's true. All right.
It's not the size of the wand, it's the magic in it.
All right. So we will continue on with episode 346. This week has been this week. So we will talk about.
Do we not want to do movies?
Oh, you found them? Good. Yeah, let's do the movies. What are we going to be watching? What are we going to talk
The
about?
movie that Arctic Fire had sent in was Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Next one was Wanted, followed by John Wick and John Wick 2. And then The Accountant, Max Gruber, The Untouchables, and ending up with The Matrix. That was courtesy of Arctic Fire, so thank you, Arctic. And if you have a movie of the day or a question and answer for the Tactical Pop Quiz of the day, send them to dailygunshow@gmail.com.
Hey, Daniel, what was after John Wick 2?
John Wick 2 was The Accountant, then Max Gruber,
I can't
then
keep
The
up. Untouchables. I can't type that fast.
Okay.
So we got them in for this week. Then
Okay.
it'll be today. It'll. Except now we got John Wick. Can you stop? We got John Wick 2. All right. We got John Wick 2 in here twice, so we need a different one. So, Smeggy, what was a different movie out of that list? Do you remember one of them?
Matrix.
Thanks.
Wait, I go too fast. I go too slow. You're like a woman. You just can't find the right speed.
So we're going to do John Wick 2 today, Mr. and Mrs. Smith tomorrow, Wanted on Wednesday, John Wick on Thursday, and then The Accountant on Friday. So I did have enough. I just mixed them up.
Yep. And
right,
thank you to Arctic Fire.
Yeah, and thanks to Daniel for grabbing that. So now we're kind of editing our playlist here behind the scenes, but that's what you get for nothing.
What do we have? More online training?
Yeah, we're going to talk about online training, but before we do, we're going to take a break, and we're going to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels, because that's one of the things we do between the first and second segment of the show each day. Gun Channels is a place we built a while back. It's a community, and it's focused on firearms. It's community membership driven, so the members are the gears. So use it how you'd like. I'm going to feature Clover today. So Clover Tack is a new member over there. I appreciate that he had been trying to join while we were having the sign-in issues. So we've had some major issues with the big upgrade on the main platform, and then all the little subsequent plugins having to catch up with the main update, and all kinds of little issues have appeared. And one of them was that the main login, people couldn't sign in as a new member for a while there, for a week or more. So anyway, I appreciate Clover, being interested enough to be patient through all that. And he was one of the first people to then, as soon as the doors were open again, to jump in and join. So yeah, I really appreciate the information you've posted so far. You can't believe the amount of good info that has come out of just a few interactions with them so far. So really looking forward to that. It's one of the reasons we built Gun Channels, to let people network, to let people share ideas, people that are creating content, to amplify each other's works, to collaborate on stuff. And I know the audience out there is going to be an interested audience who likes to see new stuff, isn't looking for the same old, isn't looking for something that's just sponsored by the big company or whatever. So yeah, we try to feature a member every day, and I'm glad to be able to feature a new member. And I don't know what we should do for the theme for the week, so if anybody's got ideas for that, we're giving you more homework. Give us an email if you want, or suggest it in the comments or something.
Or we'll just make one up, and then you guys try and figure out what the theme is, whether one exists or not.
And with that, we'll move into segment number 2. How to use social media. So I try to leave a segment open every week, and this might be some reason people tune out on Mondays, or maybe there's just not a lot of people interested in the nuts and bolts, but I'm going to continue to keep doing these. I do want to encourage people to test this stuff out. It's very easy. Your grandkids are doing it more than likely. So, it's not complicated. It's just pushing buttons and moving things over most of the time. You hardly have to read. So once you get used to the interfaces, they're pretty intuitive. They're all very similar, and they're all trying to be as easy as possible. They're all trying to be non-language specific, right? So that they work in whatever language the phone is. So you'd be surprised how easy some of this stuff is. Look, Bob's in here. Nobody's helping Bob get online except for Bob. And he's no computer genius or anything anymore. When did you do all your computer training? Like a decade ago at least, right? So we're not talking rocket science for most of this stuff. So we want to encourage people to use these platforms that are out there for all the reasons we've talked about before. But of course, sharing your Second Amendment stuff is a big important one of them. With that, today's segment is embed pics or videos versus using URL pointers to things like YouTube. Does anybody know where this one came from?
No, I wasn't quite sure why it was there, but
why it was there. Well, it's definitely a topic. It's a fairly specific one, so I'm assuming it must have come in during the planning sessions, or.
But it's more of a technical one because it's, you know, do you want to embed it on your server or just redirect it to another server?
Right, exactly. It's a pretty fairly technical question, but we're not afraid to hit technical questions here, and I'm sure it can develop into some other stuff. But basically, what the question is asking is when you're building something on the internet, whether it be a page over on gun channels or your Facebook page or your Facebook group, or if it's YouTube wouldn't really work, but a bigger social media platform where you're going to do something more similar to a blog. So
or
maybe
your geo sites or whatever.
Right, exactly. Something where you can actually have a little creative control of what shows up on a page. When I say not like YouTube, when you create a video on YouTube, you can create a description, but you can't put a picture in there. You can link to things, but you couldn't stream a video in the description of your video. They just, it's not conducive to that. So Facebook or something where you have a more powerful little box to type into, you can link to a podcast and you can link to a video. So basically the question is it better to link that video as a picture or as a video itself so that you see the thing? Or is it better, at least the way I understand the question, is it better to link the thing as an actual picture so that the person, the human being watching, can just interface with the video or the picture right there on whatever website it is? Or is it better to just use a URL, like a text link to that piece of content?
Why don't we talk about it from the user's perspective? Does the user stay on your site or leave your site? Who pays for the data? That sort of thing.
Well, in this case, probably the video itself, more than likely, especially if you're embedding it, the video is already on YouTube or something similar. It's on a hosting service, and you're talking about, do you want it to display right there, or do you want it to link back over to that hosting service? So basically, you're saying it's not such a question about who's paying for the hosting as much as, do you want to retain your site, your viewer, or do you want to send them over to that platform?
If you embed it on your server, it is a question of who's going to pay for it.
No, you're not understanding.
I mean, I'm sorry. Remove embed and insert upload to your server.
That's why it doesn't say anything about uploads. It's talking about embedding versus URL pointers. So it's saying, do you show the video on the website, or do you point to the video somewhere else?
Yeah, well, if it's on your server, you're putting a link to your server.
It's got nothing to do with your server as far as the data is involved.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you're worried about the server. Not too many people are uploading videos.
Well, I'm trying to relate it to phone technology and the use of cellular phones is where data is a thing. And who's paying for data?
Well, as far as the user's experience, it doesn't matter where the video is. When you're looking at it on your phone, it's coming through your phone's the service provider, and you're getting charged data. So it doesn't matter if it's on a server that you created, or if it's on YouTube, or if it's a hyperlink to someplace, any of those places. All of them are going to push data through your phone's internet provider, your cellular carrier, and charge you appropriately. So when you're talking about cost with video, you're always going to incur cost as a viewer unless you've got some kind of data plan or you're on Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, but I guess I'm also thinking as the owner of that site.
Okay,
like
so
if you're the creator and owner of that site.
Right. If you're talking about bandwidth in the relation to the person who has created a thing online, and if it's on YouTube, nobody cares because nobody pays for bandwidth on YouTube.
As an example, on justdano.com, I am capped at a certain amount of bandwidth or that I can throw out to the internet.
Exactly.
At which point it will stop if I. Yep.
So you're right. There's very little reason, though, in 2017, to post a video to your own server and stream it from there. Number one, it's not going to be as fast and as efficient as if it comes off a big thing like YouTube or something. And you're going to have to then be responsible for protecting it and all the stuff that you'd have to worry about that you may not even be aware of, where when you put it on one of these systems, a lot of that stuff is just taken care of inherently. So unless you're trying to put something proprietary. Well, can I finish? Because you're talking about stuff that I'm trying to explain to the people isn't necessarily.
Okay. Go ahead.
valuable thing. And if you're thinking it's a valuable thing, then maybe you're not aware that if you can use something like a Vimeo. So if you're worried about privacy or something like that, you can use a system like a Vimeo, which is a paid YouTube, and you can, that gives you more control. You can decide who can view that video when you post it through their system. You pay for it, but it's not a lot. It's like $60 a year. But that would be the only cost of a video in this question, would be if you posted it to your own website and they were going to charge you if you hit that cap you're talking about. And enough people watch the video, you hit your bandwidth cap, and then you start getting a fee. You know, you start incurring charges because people are watching that video. In the worst case scenario is it would go viral and you'd get a huge bill. But that, you'd actually have to work really hard to actually create that situation for yourself.
Unless it gets picked up and redirected by a major distribution site.
Well, I just meant that you'd have to build a website. You'd have to find a website that doesn't have unlimited streaming, because most of them will give you unlimited bandwidth at this point, and potentially even streaming. It's just that they're going to govern it so that it doesn't go out at full speed at some point, and that way they can be more attractive, you know, to their competition. But anyway, you'd have to go out and build a website and then upload something and then get it found by that major thing. But you're right, it could happen. So it's worth talking about. But I guess, again, if we go back to the actual question, it's more of, should I show the video? The way I understand this question is, should I show the video on my website, or should I just link them over to YouTube? I think the question is, do you want to keep the viewer on your website and keep them entertained so that they stay on your website and keep digging around? Or do you send them over to YouTube? I imagine the positive thing there would be that you're sending them to your YouTube channel. So instead of just seeing one of their videos, they're now on your YouTube channel. They got all that more tendency to click subscribe and to search your other YouTube videos. So I'm going to answer the question is, I don't know if it's versus like there's one better than the other. They're just ways of approaching the same situation. In other words, showing someone a video. It's just two ways of approaching it that have different results. So you'd use them as different tools in your toolbox. If you were trying to create a YouTube channel, you might go out and post just links to your video in like a blog post and on someone else's or on gun channels. And then it's going to encourage people to click the link and go over to your YouTube channel and, like, say, maybe click subscribe or something, especially if your video encourages them to do so. Now, if you want us to keep them on your website, or if you want to keep them doing something else there, then I'd say embed the video. And then that way they see the video, they watch it. They could care less what YouTube channel it came from. As soon as it's done being played, they just keep scrolling down the page and maybe watch the next one. And that would give you views, or it would give whoever it is views, but it wouldn't necessarily give them subscribers.
Another aspect that's only come up in the last several months is content control, which YouTube, most people listening are aware of what's going on there. And that's the difference between hosting it on your own and having it hosted via YouTube or Vimeo, is if it's on your own server, you have total control.
You have total control, but you also have the obligation of being in control of that thing. So if someone's going to abuse it or screw with you, or just to piss you off, connect it to something that plays it a million times just to run up a bill, you'd have to constantly be vigilant about that.
Right.
I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't want to scare people, but I also want to scare people that be careful, because there's just doing everything yourself, DIY, is cool in real life, because worst that happens is the shell falls apart. But on the internet, you know, you just don't want to bring up a big bill that, you know, you wake up in the morning and it's huge.
Well, and the other thing, as far as when you were talking about content of YouTube, really not very many videos are being completely deleted off YouTube. They're just, you're losing your ad money, which if you host it on your own, you're not getting that ad money anyways, unless you have your own, you know, ad scheme over there on your own website or whatever.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, they'll still be able to see the video. It just might not be monetized or whatever if it's embedded or URLs. And I wanted to read something that CloverTech said out there in the chat. And I don't know if this is true or not. This is what he said. So he said the URL is more effective for AdSense, YouTube search, and suggestions, etc. Because you know the views counts are going to be guaranteed. With embedding, especially from Facebook, the counts may not register. I didn't know that was a problem, but I guess that's a possibility. That said, embedding can lead to much better sub rates and eventually views, so either way works.
And in addition to not getting the advertisers, you also will be less and less likely to get on the recommended list of videos to see if you are on that, have the type of content that's not going to be promoted by YouTube.
Yeah, but that's a completely side issue. But yeah, I do agree with you on that.
Well, no, they're kind of hooked together. That's the only reason I mentioned it.
Yeah, but I guess, yeah, I would suggest it. Yeah, you summed it up pretty good as far as if you want them poking around your site more, like gun channels, right? This video right now is embedded into gun channels because we want people in there using the chat, you know, and then going over the lobby or making their own thing or doing whatever, right? So they're watching it from the site. It's embedded. But if you want someone to, like you said, watch your other videos, because if it's embedded on your site, they watch the video and go, wow, that person's really cool. I really like that video of whatever. I wonder if he has any more. They might not click to go to your YouTube channel because people are lazy. Whereas if it's a URL, it's going to be sitting right there in their face. All they have to do is click on the next one, click on the next one. Next thing you know, they've watched all your videos.
Here's an interesting thing that we haven't talked about, the metric of time on site. So if you're trying to increase your time on site, so you want to, you know, you can go after 1 million views a month, or you can go after 1,000 people that sit on my site 24/7. Both of those are an amount of eyeballs that advertisers or people creating content would like to have, you know, an opportunity to be part of. So if you're trying to keep your time on site numbers up, then why send them over to YouTube? Then keep them on your site watching as many videos as you can embedded, because then they're going to sit there logged into your site for, you know, potentially quite a while. I don't know if that's a metric that everyone goes after, but it's a way to it's another way to, you know, to think about that. Two options.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards embedded is a little bit better. Because again, if they do like that video, on every embedded thing, there's a little YouTube icon that pops up at the bottom. If you click on that, it acts like a URL and it opens it up in YouTube. So then, you know, you still might get people going in trying to find your other videos. And then, so then you have the same advantage of the URL and also the advantage of the embedded of keeping the people on your site interacting and doing whatever.
Yeah, now there's another aspect to it. If you're just writing a paragraph about such and such and the other thing and blah, 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 and here's a reference to my video and then blah, blah, blah. You don't want to embed your video necessarily right in the middle of some context that's going to make it distracting. So then you might just hyperlink it, obviously, to, you know, as a reference. Let people know that it's there, and if they choose to, they can go click on it. But CloverText, again, making a good point on the YouTube side that the session time is very important on YouTube. And I've actually, from my YouTube coach or whatever they're called, was told that as well. That's the only metric. As far as I'm told, you know that, Maggie, you know you have like Ghosts and Frankenstein walking around there?
Well, yeah, I probably do.
So they told me that the only metric they care about is duration. They don't care anything about how long a video is or how short a video is or how much of a video people watch or anything, as much as they care that you're on YouTube. So they just want people on YouTube. So that's how you, at least what she told me, that's how you make your shit attractive to YouTube. Keep people on YouTube. Pretty obvious. So I guess if you're trying to build a channel and you want to get ranked, then, you know, making them happy is sending people over. But there's another thing we haven't talked about, is if you understand that your video is embedded for whatever reason, maybe it has to be, maybe for something like gun channels where the video is embedded so that people can be using a chat. So maybe you're reaching a whole different audience, so you're going to embed it, even though it's not your preference. You can always tell people in the video, right? There's a message. We're talking about a video, but the video is nothing but content. You can use that video to explain exactly what it is you might want to get accomplished, even if the way you implemented it doesn't, you know, isn't conducive to that. So you could say, hey, you know, even though I'm embedding this, please head over to YouTube and watch it again. You know, bring a friend over and ask them to watch it with you or something, so that you have an excuse to watch it again, and maybe get more out of it. And, you know, I appreciate it because then I'm getting some time on YouTube, and that'll help more than just you watching it over here on my website. And, you know, that's a message you can tell to people.
And to address ours and Tony, I don't know that we're necessarily only talking about YouTube. He asked, you know, are you talking about someone who just uses YouTube? Not Not necessarily. It's just that's the biggest one that most people are familiar with. But I think a lot of the same stuff would apply to, you know, let's say you're on Full 30 or you're on, what's yours? Gun Vids Review or something. I'm sorry, I forget the name. You know, anywhere. It's hosted anywhere. I think all of the same advantages and disadvantages apply.
Well, and here's another thing. We're talking about hosting a video versus, well, no, we're talking about embedding a video on a website versus putting a hyperlink to a video on a website. So basically, in effect, I think we're all talking about, do we keep the visitor on our website versus do we send the visitor over to a social media platform where the video is hosted? And if we're talking about, again, I guess we're all assuming the intent of this whole project. So if the website's intent is to reach as many people as possible, then of course you'd want to utilize the social media platforms. The larger the better, and the more the better. But if your intent is to keep a private or a small group of people informed, and your goal isn't to reach as many people as possible, or to evangelize a message, or to, you know, promote a brand or something, or to seek out sponsors or something, then, you know, you wouldn't, your goals wouldn't be to go spread out on social media. And in fact, when you're using something like YouTube in that circumstance, you're going to do like what CloverTech was saying. You're going to private the video. You're going to only give the URL out to wherever, or you're going to do like what I was talking about on Vimeo. You're going to lock it down so that it can only be viewed from the locations you approve, so that it's not viewable anywhere else. So it definitely depends. You know, we're kind of assuming here that this is somebody who's trying to get out to the world or something, but it would definitely depend on your goals or your project itself.
As well as at the end of the video when it's concluded, where do you want the user to be or go to? Do you want them to go and stay at that other site, or do you want them to stay on your site? When it's completed.
Well, I don't know if we should keep going. I'm glad that it got going at least that much. Hopefully it wasn't too nerdy for everybody. We still have the typical 30-something viewers, so thanks everybody for sticking with us. The goal here of these segments of the show is to let the nerds out there talk about nerd stuff. I think it's important. And again, we built gun channels to be both for the viewers who are interested in seeing grassroots stuff, but really for the content creators as well. We're trying to make it a platform that's powerful. It can help them promote whatever efforts they're doing out there, whether it be with photography, or whether it be a blog or a podcast like this one, or videos on YouTube, or even a Facebook thing. We want to let them share audience with the other people that are out there creating. More importantly, network and share creative ideas. So it's been going great in that direction. And again, I appreciate everybody's time on this show, or letting us take this much time on this show to talk about that stuff, because it's kind of important, and it's not quite enough yet. I haven't found enough people interested in it yet to do a specific show on it. So I do appreciate people allowing us to cram that in on Mondays. I think.
Okay, I don't want to interrupt you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
It's not even raining here.
What is?
What a surprise!
It's coming! It's coming! It's the Tactical Pop Quiz! That's right, it's time. I think you're all surprised. So those of you over on YouTube and those of you on gun channels, put your cursor down in the text box, limber up your fingers. Smeggy, are you available and ready?
10-4, good buddy.
All righty, sounds great. All right, today may or may not be a difficult one. It depends on, did you get the accurate information or just the first information? All right, the question is as follows, and I shall read it twice. What gun did SEAL Team 6 use to kill Osama bin Laden? What gun did SEAL Team 6 use to kill Osama bin Laden?
David Crockett.
An army gun.
Corner shot.
No answers. HK41Y. M14, HK416,
That's it right there.
MP5.
Nope, the HK416.
So
HK 416 is correct. Was Angry American the first?
It was Angry American.
Congratulations, Angry American. You know what to do. But as a reminder for everyone else, head on over to dailygunshow.com/popquiz. Fill out the form so we can keep track of our winners. And congratulations, Angry American, with the answer of HK 416. See you later, Osama.
That was on the YouTube side.
Well, that's what they tell us.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, that's G-Webs. That was on the YouTube side.
Thanks.
He edged out Robbie on the Gun Channel side by a hair. Because I did see Robbie also got the correct answer, but Angry popped up first.
On the YouTube side.
On the YouTube side. So, Angry American, by defying logic and beating Gun Channels, even with the stupid YouTube lag, that makes you the tactical hot shot of the day.
Sounds like a good time we should beg for thumbs. So we got 30-something people watching. We got 11 thumbs. So it'd be cool to get more thumbs because ideally you get a bunch of thumbs over there. And if you got a good ratio of thumbs, they throw you up on the main page.
Ooh, you know, that's something, if I can go back in time a little bit here, in an embedded video, there's no way to give it a thumbs up.
Yes, excellent point.
It's a good point. There might
that is something to think about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, now let's go back on to.
Out there, if you could do us a solid and give us a thumbs up, we would appreciate it.
And with that, we can move along to the next segment of the show, which, I don't know, should we do events or you guys want to hit something else first?
No, let's hit gun of the day because it's a theme. Gun of the gun week, gun of the. I don't know how I would say that, but it's a theme. Theme is, what gun would you open carry to your daughter's wedding? For this much, I just kind of went 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, you know. And
now, is this a gun you have to currently own, or that you would like to have for your daughter's wedding?
Oh, you just have it for your daughter's wedding because I think some of us probably don't have daughters. Some of us do. Some of us aren't sure. Some of us are still guessing. So anyway, mythical, hypothetical, ideal wedding, carry a gun. What would you open carry? And so, I'm going to go first, and then every host has to come up with one, and then on Friday, we'll let the audience vote during the week. Would pick, and then whoever gets or whichever gun gets the most, right? It'll be the gun for Friday, whichever one we like best.
Okay, so why did you pick a 500?
Because it's the biggest, meanest looking Magnum revolver I could think of. The top. To remind the groom-to-be.
Well, you didn't say open carry.
Oh, I did say open carry. Yeah, oh yeah, open carry.
I mean, you're going to have a jacket on, so what are you going to do? Strap it around your cummerbund?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you're not going to try to conceal it. The whole point isn't going to be to conceal a gun.
Yeah, you take your jacket off eventually at weddings.
So, and I'm just saying, I want to carry something big and conspicuous to intimidate the groom-to-be and just let him know, oh, but that's my dog.
And something like that, I think I would put it in a shoulder holster, one of the ones that just, like, holds the gun horizontal, and then just stand in front of him everywhere I go. So it's just always flagging him.
Nice shoulder rig that, you know, visible.
Or you get that kind that it's up your sleeve, so when you go to congratulate him, he gets a little nervous.
Yeah. Every time you put your hand out towards him.
Is he going to get a hand, or is he going to get the barrel of a gun?
That's my choice, and the reason being it's big, it's flashy, very serious. You know, if you're going to get hit by that, it's going to be a really bad day. Yeah, I'm thinking all those things. Just for pure intimidation, of course. Just use a 22 short, back of his head one night when he's coming home drunk. But
okay, anyways.
now you guys have to come up with your own choices for the rest of the week. Tomorrow it'll be turn.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Tomorrow is who?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell us which day you want them in there? You type it in there, who's doing which,
Yeah.
and do less work since we're doing
So
your work.
Bob has work for the show notes.
Yeah, he'll put like one name in there, and then we'll have to still figure it out. So then,
That snowman guy, the
new guy.
dude who used to be a dog and is now like a gun thingy.
that
I'm
young
not sure
guy.
Bob knows our names.
So with that, we're going to go to the calendar of events because Bob can't remember what we were talking about anyway. So we're talking about calendar. Every week on Monday, we try to look at what the shooting events are coming up, and we go to the Gun Channels calendar for that. Anybody who's a member of Gun Channels is welcome to go up to the top here, click on resources, and go down to Firearms Calendar. And I guess I can just click on that. When that opens up, you can click on create a new event and feel free to create a new event. I guess I could just go from here. So it looks like this Saturday is Tank Saturday. I think Smeggy put that in. That's up in your neck of the woods.
I don't know exactly where. It's, I guess, kind of.
I think
It's in Ontario somewhere. It's in Canada.
Oh, it's a Canadian.
And I didn't do, yeah, it's the Ontario Museum. But every Saturday is Tank Saturday for all summer.
It's not even that special. But no, it's good. That's the kind of stuff
What do you
we
mean
want.
it's not even special? They freaking drive tanks around and then they shoot them.
Oh, yeah?
Like, it's like an air show, but for tanks. That's awesome.
All right. So
That's pretty cool. Every Saturday.
yeah. Then we have the Outdoor Retailer Show coming up in Salt Lake City in the end of July. The same weekend is TriggerCon up in the Washington State area. That's sort of like the media day from SHOT Show, we're told. A bunch of manufacturers are going to get together. There's going to be a couple of days at the beginning where it's like media only, where you can get out and lay hands on whatever, pull triggers, look through optics, that kind of thing. And then it's open to everybody as more of like the Texas Firearms Festival, I think, where it's more like a gun show that you can shoot at, is what I understand. So that's coming up at the end of July. We'll know more about it. I think that both Pink and Marco are going. Yankee keeps acting like he's not invited, but that doesn't stop him from going to places. So maybe we'll see a couple of them go up and give us some firsthand intel from it, maybe even live from the event. That's been known to happen. September 9th is the next thing we have on the calendar, so we don't see much from July. So if you know more stuff in July, specifically from, let's say, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, or Nevada, then I encourage you to put it in here because it'd be interesting if somebody was on the road. They'd want to be able to attend any of those events that might be in those states. So any of y'all that are in those states or know about stuff that's going on and you know about stuff that's happening July and August, please post it in the calendar so we can start using that stuff for the tour. All right,
then I got a quick question.
Sure.
Can anybody add an event? Because I'm looking at upcoming events on my page and I don't see an add event section. There's upcoming events, it lists all the events, but there's nothing to click on for add event.
On my screen here, you don't see create an event right here. Can you see my screen?
Okay, no, I guess I'm on the main page. I'm sorry.
Okay. So then that's just like a preview of the list, I guess, on the main page. We were about to talk about September, and that's why Dana was trying to distract us, because that's the bullpup shoot in Illinois that we already have press credentials for. So Dana could be there on September 9th as press.
Put me out of my misery.
Huh?
Just for a record, kind of what Dana was saying. The pants just typed in quotes, "You do not have permission to view this private page."
What are you talking about?
I think for the calendar thing.
they're not getting a way to add events.
That's what Pants is saying. There might be some behind the scene issues then. We'll have to look into.
You know, there's certain things on the site that are set by default to be a paid member thing, and if it hasn't come up before, then maybe we haven't encountered it. So maybe that's the issue. You know,
Oh, that could be like that's a feature that you're allowed to do as a create a new event.
Yeah, exactly. All kinds of things you can give, what do you say, like authorization to different user levels. And a lot of times they draw the line on features like creating at paid. So that might just be a default in there. We'll take a look at it. But right now we're talking about the actual calendar. So thanks for that. We're eventually going to put in a troubleshooting place up here so people can note when they're having issues like that so we can address it and then follow up on it. But again, everybody's trying to distract from the fact that there's going to be a bullpup shoot in Northern Illinois. That Dano refuses.
I'm not distracting from that at all. I've heard many good things from other shows that have gone to the bullpup shoot, and that was one of their most entertaining, post shows after the fact when they talked about it.
I know if it's someone who was really, really close to it that would be able to just pop in, no effort.
And I have credentials to it already, like in the email. I already have them, so
would be ideal. Now, I thought we knew someone who was from around that area.
Well, if your Dano refuses to go, I might just drive my van up there. So we might be going to that bullpup shoot one way or the other, but we'll see how it works out in the schedule. Then we got Tombstone Territorial Days, similar to the thing, the tank thing that Smeggy put in here. This is something that happens, I believe, on an annual basis. And then the town, basically, Tombstone has a theme each month. So September's theme is Tombstone Territorial Days. And I believe that goes back to the days when we were still a territory. Then you get the Texas Firearms Festival. It's an event that our Edge, that's the shows on Friday, made famous a couple years ago, and they're still running it in middle of Texas, I think, somewhere. And it's sort of like, again, it's like a gun show that is outdoors it's at a shooting range. So there's opportunities to pull triggers and then buy the stuff, at least from what I understand. And pretty big event, pretty neat. That's in Texas in September. Then we get the Gun Rights Policy Conference, also in Texas in October. That's when all the pro gun owners' rights groups get together and basically give each other a sit rep on what's been going on. They each take the stage for a small amount of time. They let us all know what they've been working on, what they see in the future, any call to actions, what they need. And really cool event. And it's usually, well, the last couple of years now, it's been broadcast live. So even if you're not able to go to Dallas to attend, you should be able to watch every little piece of it. The Plate Society podcast did that last couple of years. In October, we get the Ohio Cartridge Show. Guess who might be going to that now? Woo! I've been wanting to go to these cartridge shows for a while. I got literally a van full of ammunition. I've got a friend who runs a gun shop and gave me a bunch of his antique ammo and just oddball ammo. So we went wanting to check out what a cartridge show is like and see if we can't move some of it. And I want to go see if I can collect some more 7.62x39 ammo. Then we got the Trinity Tour. It's going to be tough. I'm going to have to be in Ohio one day and then back in New Mexico the next day. But we'll see how fast the van can drive. And I always put that in there because eventually I'll go check out the Trinity site. I figure if anybody happens to be driving through New Mexico, like happened to me, just make you aware that there's only twice a year that you can go in and see the site where the first nuclear bomb went off. And if this place gets full of actual firearm stuff, I'll pull that. It's not like it needs to be in a gun calendar. Then we see in October, Knob Creek. I'm sure after that, if we were to go down a page, we would start getting to Big Sandy, which is another machine gun shoot, exposition shoot, and some of the other stuff that's coming up towards the end of the month or end of the year. So that's some of the stuff that's in the calendar. Again, we'll figure out what's going on so everybody can jump in and create stuff, and we encourage you to do so.
I kind of want to add on to that. I personally like to encourage people to put in like local gun shows you're going to. Put in like maybe a local whatever, I don't know, like CCW training thing or something that's, like Masada Yub or like one of like whatever, something maybe you're going to. Okay. Or whatever. I encourage you to do that just because I have that experience. I did that for a local show I don't know, it was sometime last year or something, earlier this year, I forget. But I did that, and turns out Squibb was like, "Oh, I didn't know that show was going on this weekend. I'm thinking of going to that." I ended up meeting them up in person. So it's a chance that Gun Channel's members that are near each other, they might not realize that the next town over is having a gun show, and so is planning on going, and that might, change their decision to go, and you guys can meet up and hang out, and that's always fun. I always encourage that kind of community and whatever, meeting new people.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is setting up tables at gun shows. That's sort of the goal of the gun show loophole tour, is to go from gun show to gun show each weekend. So anybody that wants can, hoping people show up to help run the table with me. We can chat about gun channels or whatever to people who might want to be listening to that, but mainly so that somebody can help me by watching the table, so I can go around, snoop around, looking for things to talk about on the podcast, and 7.62 by 39 ammo, that kind of thing. So hopefully I'll be posting the gun shows that I'll be attending in here. So hopefully that can be impromptu kind of gun channels meetup / help me run the table, so I can go pee once in a while and look for ammo. All right, well, I guess that killed it. So we'll keep moving. That was the events. We do those every Monday. So anytime you want to post an event, again, part of the concept there is not only we talk about it to us, us human beings, but it's posted on Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a community with 5,000 members. There's people on it 24/7. As far as the internet's concerned, that's a pretty active website, and you're posting something ideally from an event that needs some traction, that needs some coverage, and that's giving it a valid link out there underneath the roots of the internet, and that's helping them out. So even if the eyeballs aren't there from Connecticut or Rhode Island or Colorado or Washington State, still put it in there. It's still helping that event out. And you never know, like Smeggy said, when somebody's traveling or something and they go, "Oh, I can check out Gun Channels and see what might be happening around here." So I guess that'll take us to movie of the day. And we're talking about John Wick 2. Now, has everybody seen this one? Is that why we picked it today?
I actually have one. I've seen the previews, but I haven't seen the movie. Looks good. At least they
I
didn't
attempted
kill
to
the
see the movie, but I had technical difficulties.
Yeah, I actually have not seen it either, but I really want to. And I kind of forgot about it. Like, I was waiting for it to come out. I was just going to buy it on DVD, and I just haven't yet. So I should probably get on that. I bet you it's out by now, right?
So thanks, Arctic, for the idea.
And Clover hasn't even seen John Wick 2. Okay, well, we'll make fun of you on the day that we're talking about John Wick 1. So I misspoke.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah. So we'll get into that one. But for now, you get a pass for now, because we're talking about John Wick 2. And I'm going to guess it's an awesome movie. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up.
Me and Bob are the only ones that seen it then?
Well, I mean, I haven't even seen the whole movie. I've only seen like every preview that's ever been made, and a bunch of, the gunfight scene.
Oh, so I'm the only one that's seen it then. I like John Wick a little bit, not as much as everybody else seems to like it, and I'll give it a thumb up, but it didn't. I don't know. Whenever a movie is good to begin with, like, how can this sequel be good? I mean, it's possible for a sequel to be good, but I'm gonna only give it.
It's difficult for it to be better.
That's for sure. But even to be as good, and it was a tough, new plot and everything to try to keep up with, and I don't even know. If I keep talking about it, I'm not going to give it 1, and then people not like me because I don't like John Wick. But it was definitely a phenomenon, and I enjoy that part of it, and I like how much people like it. Sort of like Walking Dead. Like, I don't have any problem with it. I just didn't prefer it myself. There's some stuff in it that's a little bit.
Well, what about the gun handling part of it? I know it is kind of gun fu, but at the same time, I mean, I think most people have seen the video of that actor training with Taron, like doing
that Canadian actor
kind of thing or whatever. So was it actually at least good, like, gun handling skills and stuff? They probably exaggerate a bit, but
no, it's actually pretty good. I'll let Bob tell you. He's not seen it. Go ahead, Bob. No, it's really good for that, and it's sort of like Taken is one I think of as the first one where it's or like Reacher, like it's not farting around trying to be TV like or movie like, I guess. It's or like Living Day or the Daylights one, the Jaeger one. You know, it's pretty decent handling. I mean, it's super fast, and in real life, you know, people that are that fast game the stage a bunch of times, but so it's unrealistic, I guess, from that extent. But it's sort of like the superhero with guns. You know, he's able to be perfect and land perfect shots every time.
Well, just like the lightning gunfighters from the old West movies, right? Draw a gun so fast you couldn't see the hand move, and you know, never miss a target, kind of thing. It's no different than that.
Yeah, but it's definitely a lot more focus on the actual handling of the gun and changing out when, you know, magazines and stuff, like where before they kind of crossed over that. They definitely have put more focus on that, and that makes it a more enjoyable movie for sure. I just wish the rest of it would hold up to that. So that's definitely why I'm giving it a thumb, and the coolest part of it for sure. And he is a cool character as far as movies go. Like, it is a cool theme. I just, like I say, it was a tough thing for him to do, and they didn't suck at it. And I'm not giving them no thumbs or anything.
Oh man, like, it's just because he's a Canadian actor, isn't it?
Oh, Canoe? Wait. Yeah, Wick is Canoe, right?
Yeah.
So Canoe is a Canuck. That's interesting. But I'm looking up the firearm database here. And it's got a Glock 34, which is a Terran Tactical John Wick Combat Master Package. Glock 26, Glock 17, a CZ P09, good job. H&K P30L, a Kimber Warrior 6-hour P320, a Smith & Wesson 1911 SCE series, just says 1911. Arsenal Strike 1, Beretta 85 BB, a Terran Tactical TR1 AR-15, a SIG SG550, SG552, an M4A1, and a Brunelli M4 Super 90. So those are all the guns in it. Those are pretty neat. Good job having a CZ in there, dude. That's my favorite.
Somebody was asking on the YouTube side, is it one of these like unlimited ammo movies? And that's the thing. He's constantly changing mags and stuff, but I don't know where he's getting all these mags from. So, you know, they definitely...
For the bad guys. That's the one thing I liked about the John Wick stuff, was he would actually not just grab a gun from the bad guys, having mags from them. Always bugged me about adventure movies when this guy, you know, the good guys would run on a movie or run out of ammo, and it's like, you just killed 4 guys that had full mag pouches, you know? Off.
Taken was, I thought, one of the better ones for starting to do that, because he would like run up the hallway and strip the guy from all his stuff, and then.
Which is a good reason to start with your Glock 26, go to your Glock 19, then go to your Glock 17 or 34.
Especially if all the bad guys have Glocks. That's what I was just going to say, is that's, I guess that is one good thing about Glocks, is that you can just grab mags from the bad guys and you're good to go.
What you do is you take out the first bad guy, grab his gun and his mags, and then every subsequent bad guy, you just keep taking their mags, because they're all going to have the same mags, probably.
Yeah, good point. And keep your gun in reserve. Just use theirs.
You only need to fire 1 shot of your own ammo.
So
or
really,
maybe you got to break.
Like, really, if you're a good tactical type guy, you could start out with just Derringer, right?
No, you'd snack their neck, sneak up behind them and crack their neck. They don't do enough of that in TV anymore. You used to be able to just twist somebody's neck and they'd be down, you know.
Now it's because of MMA, they realize the quickest way is a choke out.
Yeah, but the thing that bugs me about that, and they still do this, is they'll choke someone out, and then like the guy will be like, "Oh, he's asleep now," and then they'll like drag him into a room and like, you know, do a bunch of stuff. And the guy wakes up 20 minutes later. It's like, no, you don't take a nap. Like when you go out, you wake back up a couple seconds later.
You don't take a nap? Really?
Well, you take a nap, all right, and it depends on how long you keep that applied, right?
Well, yeah, but then they're not waking back up. I mean, that's perfectly.
unconscious and brain damaged.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's not what they do. For the plot, they choke them out, and then 20 minutes later, they wake up and, whatever. And that's not how it works. But that's okay, whatever. We're not talking necessarily about choking people in movies. Talking about John Wick 2, which, I don't know. I like the first one. I'm guessing I'll like the second one, and I will see it eventually.
Yeah, same here. It's like I say, I've gone and seen all the gunfight scenes and all the previews and everything on YouTube. I just haven't got around to watching the whole movie.
From the part of the movie I was able to see, as well as in addition to that, the actual trailer, I'm absolutely going to continue to try to see it.
So, since we're speaking
In
about...
general, it's, yeah. Should check out the movie if you get a chance. We're all going to try.
So, that was our movie of the day. I'm going to touch on one more thing with Keanu Reeves. I saw this weird movie that he's in called The Bad Batch. I'm sure no one's seen it yet. The Bad Batch. You'd know it if you'd seen it. It's a goofy title, and it's one of the weirdest movies I've seen in a while. And I've seen a lot of weird movies, but it's a weird movie. I'm not going to ruin it. So if you're interested in seeing a weird movie that's science fiction-ish, then The Bad Batch. It's weird. Anyway, we try to feature a movie every day. Daniel gave you a list earlier of the movies that were sent in by Arctic. Whoever sent them in. So thanks for that.
Yes,
We're going to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Smith tomorrow. We'll be talking about Wanted on Wednesday, John Wick, the first one, on Thursday, and The Accountant on Friday. So if you're looking for an excuse to watch the movies, there's your excuse. You have homework for the Daily Gun Show. I'm thinking we should have to do a gun shop, and I was asking over on the gun channel side which shop they featured over on Early Watch today. So Jimmy and I are going to be working together on helping out. Jimmy's going to be helping me out with the tour, and we're going to be working together this show and that show in the Early Watch show to do the. I thought Daniel said he was going to stick around today. So we're going to be working together on the gun shop of the day since we're going to be visiting new gun shops every day. So with that, I'm going to feature the same shop they featured today, SNG Tactical. Bob and I have both been there. It's that one near the hospital in Tucson. It's sort of in an industrial area. We went in there, and they had the sign out front. You go around the corner, you go in, it's like a brick building, and then it's just the one little room. It's packed floor to ceiling with like tactical stuff and a lot of imported stuff, a lot of your typical AR-15 accessories and standard guns, a couple of consignments and used things, but mostly like your big sellers, like the stuff that most people are looking for, the popular concealed carry type of thing. And then the one.
Yeah, I kind of faintly remembered. I don't think it made a big impression on me.
And then they're a pretty nice shop. They're on the Instagram. They're usually sending me pictures every once in a while or like our stuff. I've dealt with them a few times in the past. I don't think I've ever I bought little stuff there, like a knife. Actually, the first time Bob came out here, we went there, and it was at their old shop, and I bought that little knife that looks like what is it? The special SSSF. Anyway, like the old World War II.
SAS Dagger?
Yeah. Anyhow, so there's a little shop. It's sort of in the industrial area of Tucson, tucked away, and I think they do a lot of stuff online in the gun shows. So their retail location isn't their prime focus or whatever. And they've been there for a while. They moved around a little bit, and always in that same general area though. I don't know if they're getting bigger shops or just better rents kind of thing. And interesting little shop, and they keep kicking them, and they use the internet quite a bit. So I should probably go over there and talk to them a bit more. But anyway, that was the shop today. I'm not sure what the guys talked about earlier, but I might have had some pictures and stuff up there on the website. We're going to be building up a website where I feature all the gun shops. It's called Gun Shop Guide, and it's gone through highs and lows over the years. It's one of my first websites I built when I started building them back in 2004, and it's one of my favorites. Out of having hundreds of websites, you can't really have that many favorites, and this is one of them for sure. I've just always appreciated going to gun shops and being able to share them. I can remember in the days when you would ask to take pictures, and they'd run you out of the shop. They literally got mad when you'd ask such a question. And then eventually it got to where, like I say now, I can't remember the last time anyone's had any objection at all. So anyway, it's just something I've always been interested in, and I've always posted websites to share the pictures of them. Unfortunately, I've seen way too many shops just disappear. You know, the shops from when I was a little kid, they're very few and far between anymore. The shops that are just chock full of everything cool under the sun, and a little old guy who knows just about a little bit about everything. Fewer and fewer of those shops. So I figure that if we can archive them, that's always cool, and it gives us something to talk about, something to remember, and hopefully gives the new shop something to emulate, because those were the days. Those were good shops. All right, so I'm talking a lot there. I think we're about done though. So unless anybody has anything else.
Oh,
Pretty good. We kind of flew through this show today.
Yeah, it went pretty quick. Seems like I've been talking a while. But anyway, tomorrow will be Tuesday. It'll be episode 347. We'll talk about the best rebuttals to the militia clause arguments that we get. Whatever the hell Dan,
favorite
paragraphs long. And then the state of the state. Is there a list we have? And we don't know what state it's going to be. So then we'll talk about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And tomorrow, Dano will tell us about what he would wear to his, I don't think he has a daughter, so his fictional daughter's wedding. Along with everything else, we'll talk about the gun shop of the day and the rest. So with that, we'll see you back here. Oh, no, wait, we didn't talk about what's on gun channels tonight.
Oh, what is on gun channels tonight? It's Monday.
I feel like I've gone through this before, but was this on early watch? I don't know. Either way, I'll do it again right now. So tonight being Monday, there will be Matt, Never Enough Ammo, doing his Guns and Geeks podcast. Mondays are normally reserved for the geek topic. So I don't know if they're watching Fear the Walking Dead or not, if they're going to talk about that tonight, or if they're just going to talk about some sci-fi thing or whatever, some type of top 10 list. I love those. And that's at 9 o'clock Eastern. And then HVS, Hawaii Volcano Squad, does Locked and Loaded. And I believe we figured out that was at 10 o'clock. So that's on tonight. And then We Like Shooting's also on tonight at like 9, I think. And I think that's it for Monday night. Then again, tomorrow morning, there'll be a chat going on during the day before the Daily Show.
And then we'll see you back here at 7 p.m., 4 p.m. Pacific.
All right, guys. So I guess that's going to wrap it up. Everybody knows we end our shows with a quote. Today will be by Samuel Adams. But before that, I'd like to just remind everybody, please like, subscribe, and share our podcast. Get word out there. Make us grow. That sounded kind of creepy. Hey, Samuel Adams. All that the said Constitution already screwed it up already. And,
well, you were breaking up, so why don't you just start over again anyways?
Hold on, let me interrupt you then and just give a little info out there for the people that didn't jump in. We had an early Patreon chat again today, so anybody that's a supporter over on Patreon had a link. A lot of days we'll start the chat like an hour earlier and just BS and whatever, but today I went and got to see the new van that I'm going to be bidding on. So I got some video. We were watching the video and chatting about it, but super stoked, and hopefully we will anyway, I don't want to jinx nothing, but anyway, go ahead, Bob.
All right. I got a new van too, and mine's bigger. And that the said Constitution be never construed to authorize Congress to infringe the just liberty of the press or the rights of conscience. The people of the United States who are peaceable citizens own arms. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.